father of Hollywood.com, along with Truthwins.com, presents Dreamland, New Beginnings, written by Dr. Galen Whitley Keith, narrated by Keith Whitley. Chapter 17. Morning light streamed down Hollywood Boulevard, gilding the new shop fronts, the glinting streetcar rails, and the bustling sidewalks where tradesmen and townsfolk mingled with aspiring actors and actresses. Yet progress had its shadows. Walking briskly with Roy Milner at his side, H.J. Whitley stopped sharply before a hardware store. There, on the glass door, in crude letters on a pasted sign, it read, "No Jews, no actors, no dogs." Whitley's jaw hardened. Without a second thought, he handed his coat to Roy. "Wait here." "Yes, sir." The door banged open, the entry bell jangling as Whitley stormed in. Behind the counter, Mr. Johnson, gaunt and long-faced, looked up nervously. "Mr. Whitley, how can I—" "This," H.J. barked, slapping the hateful placard across the counter. "What the devil is this nonsense?" Johnson fumbled for words. "Well, it is self-explanatory." "Self-explanatory?" Whitley's eyes flashed. With sudden ferocity, he ripped the paper to shreds, flinging them into the air like confetti. "If I ever see such filth in any building of mine again, you, Johnson, will find yourself history, and you may tell every other bigot the same." Johnson paled, bowing his head. "Yes, sir, Mr. Whitley." Whitley marched back into the sunlight. Roy scrambled after him with coat and newspaper, trying to match his master's pace. The red leather booths and checkered floors of Musso and Frank Grill hummed with quiet elegance. Hollywood's oldest restaurant had by now earned its reputation as the gathering place of the city's elite. Behind haze of cigarette smoke and crystal glasses, power was measured not by land but by stories put to screen. At a corner booth sat Whitley and Cecil B. DeMille, the commanding director who had defined spectacle itself. His eyes burned with an evangelical intensity, his dark mustache bristling at each emphatic word. "Cecil," Whitley began, sipping his coffee, "I thought it best we meet without delay. The town is aflame with talk of Arbuckle and worse, whispers of federal censorship." DeMille shook his head gravely. "Yes, the Fatty Arbuckle scandal has cast a shadow over every one of us. Public hysteria runs wild. It would not take much for Washington to decide that motion pictures are a menace rather than a gift." The waiter brought bread and salad. The men fell briefly silent before Whitley continued. "What we do here in Hollywood is shaping the culture of this nation for a generation, Cecil. Yet I fear democracy, civility, even truth itself are growing frail. Too many believe the first rumor they hear. Anger and cruelty are strangling discourse. If we do not steer this industry wisely, others will steer it for us with shackles." DeMille nodded slowly, spearing a slice of cucumber. "That is why I have decided. My next picture shall be drawn from the Bible itself. Exodus, the story of Moses and Ramesses. The eternal conflict. Are men to be ruled by God's law or by tyrants of the state? The question of Pharaoh is still the question of today, Hobart." Whitley leaned closer, his voice hushed but intense. "I have always believed, what a man thinks in his heart, so he becomes. If moving pictures pour lies and debauchery into the heart, what sort of citizenry shall this democracy have? Which is why we must fill the screen with meaning," DeMille replied. "Not mere titillation, but enduring truth. I am a showman, yes, explosions, armies, golden calves crashing to the ground. But beyond the spectacle, my duty is moral light. The Bible has been our civilization's compass for millennia. I intend to remind America of that." The Musso waiter refilled their coffees. The smell of roast beef wafted from the kitchen. Both men considered in silence the gravity of their words. "I will speak with Harry Chandler," Whitley said finally. "The Times can trumpet the value of your production. 1,000 billboards crumble against a single headline." DeMille smiled warmly, for once less austere. That is why I consider you not only a patron of Hollywood, but its guardian. They call you the father of Hollywood, Hobart, but you are also its conscience. Whitley inclined his head. Publicity may draw the crowd, but conscience is what keeps them. I only hope future makers will share your conviction. The waiter arrived with their meals, plates set steaming before them. Cecil sliced into his cut, declaring, "Ah, delicious." Whitley smiled thinly, though his mind was already racing, of scandals quelled, of reputations guarded, of stories to build a world. As DeMille spoke further, he reminded Whitley how, only years before, Edison's trust had tried to strangle the industry with patents, forcing pioneers like Horsley westward into Hollywood's sunlight. Now, with studios multiplying, Universal, Paramount, Warner Brothers rising, they faced a new test of power, not machines, but morality. It has always been so, Whitley reflected. When Gutenberg printed his Bible, new voices cried danger too, but the word endured and truth traveled farther. So it shall be for Hollywood. If guided rightly, these pictures may be America's new scripture to the world. DeMille raised his glass. Then guide us, Colonel. Whitley's smile glimmered. No, Providence guides us. We are but stewards, Cecil. Heaven help us if we forget it. They drank, and as plates were cleared and the restaurant hummed on, it was clear both men felt history sitting with them at the table. Come back next Wednesday to hear the next chapter of Dreamland, New Beginnings, written by Dr. Galen Whitley Keith, narrated by Keith Whitley.